Hi guys. So I haven't done a video in ages, so excuse and most of my decks are in storage, so this is what I have. And yeah, sorry about there's no decorations or anything, but I felt like doing a video and with with the few remedies that I had. So this is gonna be a video about what you need to know right now. Yeah, kind of wherever you are and what situation you're in. So as per usual, it's pick a pile, or if there might be more than one pile that speaks to you. So when you've picked your pile, you go down in the description box below here, and you're going to find timestamps, so you can press on that timestamp, so you're going to jump to the pile that you picked. And yeah, that's going to be an answer for you. Remember, this is a general reading, so it's not necessarily everything that's true. Check what resonates, and like maybe it doesn't resonate at all, try another pile, or maybe that's not a message for you in this video. That's okay too. I'm only here to try to guide. I'm not telling you what's true for you. So yeah, again, take what resonates, right? So you guys, yeah. It's not awkward at all. No, no. That's the thing. Like when you've been away for something, I love working with tarot. Like when I've been away from it so long that I kind of feel awkward when I get into it again. So yeah. So if you haven't picked a pile, put the video on pause because I'm gonna jump to pile number one now. Pile number one. Let's see what messages is here for you today. What you need to know. So you got the dragon here. That's not what it's called, right? What's it called in English? Oh no, I should have looked that up. You got this toy thingy, flying thingy. Um, yeah, so when I was drawing this, I was drawn to use the purple for me symbolizing the crown chakra. So maybe opening up because this is going upwards, right? And then the little bows of the colors of the throat chakra. So I think there's a combination here of every time you kind of tie a bow on things. So to me, I always have this, well, I say it in Danish, but translated to English, I would say like tying a bow on the energy, meaning that a lot of times we have energy strings that is untied, that is kind of like a back door kept open where the energy fizzles out, you know? Like that can be in relationships where you know that this friendship is over, but instead of telling the other person, you're just hoping it for to dissolve on its own. You're just hoping that if you take longer time answering, if you stop taking initiative, then the other person will maybe finally get it, or it would just fizzle out on its own, right? That's keeping the back door open for the energy just to go out instead of yeah, it's like wasting energy, kind of, instead of putting a bow on it, instead of saying, well, for your own sake as well, like standing up for yourself and saying like this just, not that the other person is attacking you, but being honest with yourself as well, that this isn't a relationship that you want anymore, it doesn't make sense anymore. So so instead of you waiting for it to dissolve, you need to be honest, right? Because it can be so hurtful to be on the other side. Maybe you tried this too, where you're friends with someone and suddenly they don't call anymore, and when you take the initiative, they don't have time to see you, and when you write them, they're very short with their answers, so they take days to reach back to you, right? Because in reality they don't want this relationship anymore, but you don't know that because they're not being honest. So you just, like any person would assume, that they're busy, there are other things that are going on, and they'll get back to you when there's time, right? In reality they're just not being honest. So that's just an example, right? There's something about tying the knots on these energy strings. And then it was a funny thing about this drawing actually, because I was shown a lightning, but that couldn't really fit in a drawing. So instead, drew this pointy thing, representing going upwards toward the lighting, right? And the lighting is energy charge, and with a split second charge, right? So something about going upwards, something about seeking that charged energy, and with the color of the crown chakra. Sorry. Yeah. So let's see what the cards has for you. Let's put this up here. Something about playfulness as well, I guess. I'm gonna do this one in the end because it's really nice. And the other cards might not be, because I usually, well, this is a self-development channel and usually I get some pretty harsh messages. So we got stand your ground. Wow. Yeah, like I said, tie a bow on it, right? Instead of just letting things fizzle out, or maybe you're angry about something at work, right? So stand your ground. Or maybe your partner keeps bugging you with the same thing, so stand your ground, right? There's something here about, or something with siblings as well, right? Stand your ground instead of keep going around in that circle and just people please. Obstacles and challenges. Something to overcome. And yeah, if you're not usually standing your ground, right? If it's something new to you, because maybe you're a people pleaser because you're afraid that if people get mad at you, they'll leave you, or they don't want to talk to you, or they're gonna make you wrong, right? If you confront someone with something and they're gonna turn it around and put it on you, and you don't feel like you're strong enough, and you're just gonna fall for their, I want to say, bullshit, right? Then it's a big leap to stand your ground. Victory and success. Yeah, but the card is saying here that it's do it, because it will create this victory and success. I love that all of these are purple. These are the, how do you say that, staves? How do you say that in English? Wands. Yeah, sorry, I haven't been doing a video for a very long time. These are the wands suit. So we got 5, 6, and 7. I think that's interesting too, that in this order where 7 is where we want to go, 5 is the first step, 6 is the next step, and then we're gonna proceed to 7, right? So first of all, we're gonna need to have a goal in mind and say, what is it that we want to achieve with this, standing our ground, right? We're fed up with something and we want to, I don't want to say make it go away. I think that's the thing, that you usually want to make it go away. And so you kind of maybe ignore it, or you're, yeah, again, doing that police thing, right? That, or maybe, like if it just fizzles out, if I stop making contact, maybe the other person will know. And this is just whatever your situation you're in, because this is a general reading. Whatever the situation is that you're in, you really need to pick up that stick, that wand now, right? And do something about it. This is a great opportunity for a lesson to stand stronger in yourself, setting boundaries to yourself as well, and also like the integrity, right? That if you're done with something, at least be honest about it. You're gonna feel so much better about yourself that you did this, and that you stood up for yourself and you told your truth, even though no matter how the other person perceived it, or how you say, like, handled it, you still did what was right for you. Just waiting for something to fizzle out is not what's right for you. It's a scared energy, right? It's scared of doing what you really want to do. Balance. The root chakra, but reversed. Master. Master your heart is kind of what I want to say. I feel this needs more. I'm gonna put this guy up here. Let's see what the other cards are saying. Got the shadow, lazy. We have 2 of Cups and Hierophant. That's interesting. So 2 of Cups, yeah, again, it's a general reading. Aren't these cards beautiful? I love them. It's from, what's it called? True Black Tarot, I think. So beautiful. Anyhow, so yeah, for some of you, this is like the relationship I was talking about, 2 of Cups, this relationship, right? But it's broken now. It's not going forward. This arrow is not going to fly anywhere, and there's this upheaval, right, in the waves, in the glasses here. So I can say the good thing is the glasses isn't broken, and they're still whole. So each of you are still whole in this relationship, but that's not gonna keep being true. It's if you keep having these big waves and clink together, like bunk together, right? So one of you are gonna break, maybe both of you. So there's something about here. Also, I'm hearing for some of you like that discussion or fight keeping like on repeat, right? You're never getting anywhere, and every time you get into a fight, it's the same shit all over again. You're not getting it resolved. So I think that you know that something here is done. It's not. It's broken. To like. And the thing is with this arrow, right? So we can maybe tape it together, but it's never gonna fly straight again. So some relationships, there is like a point where, okay, we need to seek professional advice, or we need to do something else. Maybe we need to take a break, or whatever it is, right? To fix what is broken here, or we just need something, right, different than what we've been doing. And I would say that would be a bended arrow that we can straighten again. This is broken. It can't be straightened again. And I think you came to this reading, if this is you in a relationship, it can be a friendship, it can be family bond, and it could be a romantic partner. I think that if you came to this reading, it's to reassure what you already know, that it can't be mended. You need to stand your ground and put a bow on this, right? Tie a bow on this. For others, you got the Hierophant. It's very interesting because for some of you, I hear it's a spiritual guru. Actually, it was very funny. I don't think that ever came through to me before. But the Hierophant is kind of like the king of the spiritual world, let's say like that. He's not a priest, but he's still like the one in between you and the spiritual world, right? So he's higher than you. There's something to learn from him. And I think there's something here that you might have been. It's not necessarily true. You don't need to have known this person like in real life. Maybe you just followed them on YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and you thought that their teachings were good. But somehow along the way, you lost your own way in this. You kind of just, it became that kind of cult guru thing. No, I'm not saying this person is, is having a cult. I'm just saying that when everything this person says becomes your truth, because you're not sure what your truths are, based on that, a lot of the other things, like when we get into these gurus, right? There's a time where I followed Teal Swan a lot, for example. Like I thought that a lot of things she was saying made sense, but I always, like every time something didn't make sense, I remember to ask myself and say, tell myself, oh, that's just because it's not my truth. And she doesn't know. She doesn't hold the ultimate truth. No one does. She's just sharing her truth, and that doesn't make it necessarily true for me. And I think that a lot of people fall into this trap, that especially when we're new in the spiritual world, that if we don't know our own truth, or we're insecure and we don't know really where we stand with something, and we find someone, let's just say a guru, right? And they have all the answers that we needed at that point in time, and it's really healing, right? It's really giving us something. Then a lot of times we forget that, like we put them on a pedestal, right? And we forget that it's not necessarily true, because I know I remember sometimes, like even though I had this, it was very very clear to me that sometimes when Teal Swan was saying something and I felt, no, that's not true, then I knew that's just not my truth, and she doesn't have the ultimate truth. But I would say when I was in a situation where I was confused and I didn't know my own truth, it was so easy to fall into that trap of her truth being the right truth, right? So in that case, I would put her on a pedestal and I would put her above my own truth, because I wasn't sure at that time what my truth was, being confused and hurt and whatever it is. And here's this woman who said so many other truths, what is truth to me, so this must be true as well, right? But not necessarily. What is up with this lazy and this master? So this lazy card is a shadow side, right? So the shadow parts of us are the parts that we are ashamed about, that we push down. So there might be something here for some of you where you feel like you need to be productive all the time. um you can't really stand still. Well, you like, if you do have an evening or a weekend, even let's say a weekend where you're just watching Netflix, you're not doing anything else, watching Netflix and eating ice cream, and you're not really enjoying it because at the same time you're kind of putting yourself down for not being productive, right? So shaming yourself for being lazy. um and I feel like actually that's a part of the standing your ground, is that it's okay to be lazy. It's okay to be, we don't have to be productive all the time. That's just something society tells us. It's not true. And I feel a lot of this actually, the base chakra, of course, has something to do with this. Like, you're not standing strong, and you don't have a strong base if you can't stand your ground. Um, and because when you stand up for yourself and what you believe in, it's kind of enforcing the base, right? You're grounding yourself and saying, "This is me." Like this energy here, right? Da da. This is me. Like just this big planet. Like I'm gonna face it. I don't care because this is me. I know this planet is so much bigger than me, and it's bright and it's glowing, and I don't know really maybe what it is, but I still hold my head high because this is me and this is what I want. Um, and with this lazy as well, that's standing your ground, and not to other people's, but to you, not other people's, not to other people, but to yourself, that it's okay to be lazy. It's okay to be playful. I'm hearing as well. It's okay to be more like an inner child. And I feel actually the thing here, him putting that heart in the cage, is you shaming yourself for not being good enough. Like also in this, I'm hearing this relationship card here, that you're telling yourself the broken arrow is your fault, right? You broke the relationship because you're not healed enough or whatever's wrong with you. Maybe the other person is telling you that, and you're taking it in as your truth, right? um, but it's not true. Like there's two people in a relationship and both have to do their part. um, yeah, so I of course, if your partner cheated on you, I would say that's that's on them. But you know what I'm saying? Like generally, it's a two-party game here, right? Two parties, two players, two persons. Oh my god. Oh, you guys. Let's see the last card. What's here for you? Yes. Follow your heart. I'm always rewarded when I follow my heart. I trust that the GPS in my heart knows all the best routes. And when it seems like it's taking too long to get where I want, I know that's because there's some cool, weird stuff to see along the way. I like this. These cards are so cute. Affirmations cards. Um, yeah, I feel like you've not really been, want to say, good at following your heart because um, you know, this thing about just spending a weekend on the couch watching Netflix, right? If that's what you really need, then that's following your heart. I think that we put this thing, following your heart, on a pedestal. It's kind of like, I want this dream house. I'm gonna manifest it. I want this partner and this perfect relationship, and I want, following your heart in that regards, and following your heart and traveling the world and getting family and get your dream job and stuff like that. I think we forget the little things, like follow your heart when you're out walking in nature. Like if the path splits in two, instead of just walking like, oh, I'm going to take this path, listen to your heart, right? What's where are you being drawn to? Or when you're out grocery shopping, this is such a good thing. Actually, I think we have a list with us, and we get what we want, and a lot of times we also get something that we didn't have on the list because we're kind of being spontaneous. Oh, I could really eat a donut right now, right? Instead of like, with everything you put in the basket, you stop and you ask yourself, right, your heart, like, if is this something, your intuition, I want to say, is this something that I want? Like, we can train our intuition with so small exercises like that. And to me, like, the intuition is a lot like following your heart. Follow what makes you happy. And I think let's take the donut example, right? We're out doing this grocery shopping and come across this donut and we're like, oh, I could really eat a donut right now. Sometimes we just put it in the basket, we don't think about it, and then we we shame ourselves later because we we want to lose like 2 pounds or whatever, right? So a donut is not like the best idea. So we're taught. Um, and other times we don't buy the donut, we don't put it in the basket because we know that no, we want to lose 2 pounds. So we feel like, oh, I've been good because I don't want to lose 2 pounds and I didn't fall in the trap, blah blah blah. And and none of those were really honest with ourselves. We're not stopping like in our tracks and asking ourselves, standing with this, looking at this donut, like what is it that makes me want this donut? Is it just a craving because I am suppressing something in myself to lose these 2 pounds, right? Am I forcing myself to something here? I don't know, this becomes very philosophical. Or am I really just craving this donut? Maybe this gives me something, right? Maybe this gives my inner child something. I'm not saying the donut's gonna heal you, but I'm saying that we're so used to thinking our way out of things instead of listening to our hearts, right? And I think also with this, with relationships and with the hierophant here, the guru thing, right? We're trying to think our way out of how can we fix this? How am I? What am I doing wrong? What can I fix in myself so this relationship can work? Like with the shame right here, and with the guru also like thinking like the thought of like, oh, so they have the ultimate truth instead of listening to your own heart, right? What is true for you? That doesn't mean you have to stop following that guru or whatever person it is, like, but it just means that maybe like turn it down a notch, right? Put yourself first. What's true for you? So yeah, that's what I got for you, pile number one. I hope it makes sense, and until next time, take care. Bye. Pile number two, you chose this little tree with hearts on it. So that might be something ready to harvest, something that you really put your heart and soul into. But we also got the five. So the five is also usually representing halfway or representing a lot of time in the tarot struggles. So let's see what comes. It's a very nice tree though. Like it's not small, it's not withery. There's something good here, right? So let's see. I am gonna do this card last. So material harvest. I love this. Yeah, let's see what else we got. I believe these are the coins, the red ones. Seek the truth. Wow, that's a beautiful card. Like someone splitting in two. Maybe you're going between two worlds, right? Maybe it's two people in your life. Maybe it's two choices, education, work, or maybe just two paths in lives. So there's something about opening up down the middle to see what's true for you. What else we got? Simply love. That's cute. Cute. Strengthening bonds. So we got two here in what I would say is relationships. I like it with the hearts as well, right? Simply love and strengthening bonds. This is a number one, so this is beginnings. We have 10 of coins and worry. Let's do this one too. Peacefulness. I have a peaceful, tranquil, and untroubled heart. This is where I choose to spend my time. I can bring guests, but any person, thought, or event that brings drama or chaos is not invited. My heart is a special property, and I'm going to keep it that way so we can all keep enjoying it, and I can get my security deposit back. Yeah, you don't want to ruin it. I want to put this here with, I'm going to put it in the middle actually, because what it says, like it's a peaceful, tranquil, and untroubled heart, and next to it we have this worry card, right? This is interesting, you guys. It's kind of, yeah, I want to put this somewhere else. I feel like you're ready to go new routes. So, like maybe you're in a relationship and you're ready to leave it, because it's not giving you, like, it's giving you worry, right? And that's just not the harvest you want, I want to say. Like, because Ten of Pentacles, I love that card. Ten of Pentacles usually represents happy home, happy family. So it's usually depicted with multiple generations. And I feel like this is what you want. I want to see with this material harvest. I think there's, yeah, if you look past this material harvest and we just look at the image, something about sowing and reaping, right? So there is definitely a time for reaping. There's definitely a time for new beginnings, because you got the one, simply love. I feel like there's, like, you can be single too. There's just some, I feel like it's very forward message, actually. It feels like you're just like, I'm tired of bullshit. Right? I'm not here for it anymore. I'm going in between, meaning in between the worlds, in between, how do you say that? Um Going within, going deeper, looking like she's going somewhere and she's going somewhere, right? Uh and I feel like there's something about respecting your inner child as well with this card. So I feel like you're moving from these old patterns in relationships, especially romantic relationships, towards something new. You're leaving this worry behind. You're saying, like, this is kind of your mantra, your contract, right? Your heart is this little wagon thingy, and people are welcome. But if you don't treat this wagon heart, this is this home, it's really a home, right? With respect, then they need to leave again. So I feel like you actually accomplished something where you came to a point in your life that if people in your life is not bringing you something good, not saying that they need to, like, bring you something, but you know what I'm saying, like, if they're giving you worry, then you don't want it. Like, you're done with wasting energy. You're walking away. We got two cards for that, right? Two people with their backs turned to us. I feel like with this card as well, there's something about realizing something about someone or a pattern, or like seeing the truth, right, within what is really lying beneath the overlay that we created, right? This picture perfect thing that we're telling ourselves that isn't true. That for some of you, you will be sitting in a relationship where you're not getting this perfect happy home. I'm not saying that the other person has to be perfect. I'm saying it has to be a match, right? You need to want the same things in life. You need to understand each other's love languages. You need to respect each other. You need to want the same things. You need to click. You need to have that attraction. There's so many things, like in a romantic relationship, that just needs to to fit together, and that is difficult and it is hard, and we're gonna get triggered. And the thing is, sorry you guys, that's third chakra. That's, I usually get that when in a reading, when it's about not speaking your truth. But I feel there is something about you realizing your truth here, actually. This that I'm telling you here, that you might be on the edge. How do you want to say that? Yeah, on the yeah, I think on the edge of leaving a relationship. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can also be like family bond, right? On the edge of that, realizing that's not what you want, and you're kind of done with the drama thing, or you're not feeling good. This person is not making you feel good, right? Or you already did leave that behind and you're going into this blissful feeling, right? So this is just a reading that's confirming you that you're on the right path. You found this heart wagon, right? And you want to treat it right, and you want to respect that part of you. And with that, you're kind of kicking everybody out who's not behaving inside that wagon, right? You're done with the worries, what I'm hearing. And I feel that's very beautiful. It's sometimes we come to a point in life where we just, you know what, if I have to walk this path alone, I'd rather do that than being in a relationship where it's not bringing me fulfillment, or even worse, where it's putting me down or dragging me down or making me feel bad, right? So I feel a lot of tranquility actually for this pile. And yeah, like you reach a conclusion. You know what you want now, and you know how to get it, and you know what you don't want, and you know that you want to leave that. It's actually very simple. So very interesting. Yeah, I guess that's what I had for you guys. Okay, that was fast. That was easy. I hope you could use this, and until next time, take care. Bye. Pile number 3 shows this sun. It was actually the first drawing I drew of these 4, and so the sun in tarot is the most positive card. It's the happiest card. But I also like that this spiral is maybe. I feel there's something about healing and enlightenment, and I feel like going even deeper with the spiral into a healing, right? So let's see what messages is here for you. I'm gonna do these last. So, new beginnings, I love that. We got conflict and defeat. Interesting. We have trust. That's a new beginning as well. We got 2 zeros. This is the Fool in the original tarot. This and this one, both. It's the same card, just depicted in different ways. We have, what's this? Queen of... Who is this? Queen of Swords? Just a second, I think this is Queen of Wands though. Yeah, it's Queen of Wands. No, it's Queen of Swords. It's Queen of Wands. It's Queen of Wands. it's just here, flipped. And we have intrusive and silenced. Just give me a second, you guys, because this is kind of... What is this about? Let's do these 2 as well. Options. As open to the abundant possibilities of my life's path, I'm reminded that I always have unlimited options. Life is a buffet, and I allow myself to choose whatever makes me happiest without limiting thoughts like, you can't put mac and cheese on your baked potatoes. Yeah, or like like a shrimp and ice cream and a chicken leg and a sausage. That's kind of funny. Forgiveness. Congratulations, you're being given one of the most powerful superpowers that is forgiveness. Imagine that you've been bitten by a radioactive forgiver. The point is, you suddenly have the ability to forgive people for their flaws, their bad days, their unkind moments, and their mistakes. And the best thing about forgiveness is that you can apply it to yourself too. Have fun wielding your new power, but remember, great forgiveness with great forgiveness comes great inner peace. I love this. Okay. New beginnings. Intrusive silence. So to me, the Queen of Wands is a very fiery person. A lot of passion and a lot of drive and a lot of like not taking any bullshit, but she's upside down. What is this about, you guys? You got 2 new beginnings. One of them is saying trust, but you got conflict and defeat. So it feels like whatever situation you're in, it feels like you're defeated, right? It feels like there's been a lot of conflicts, but it's winged, right, with 2 new beginnings. This conflict and this defeat has left you silenced, and you felt like maybe someone intruded on you, on your boundaries, or maybe you did that to yourself. When we people please, we overstep our own boundaries, which is kind of opening the doors to other people being intrusive because they don't know where the boundary is, so they can unwillingly be intrusive and overstep our boundaries, right? Because we're not being clear, and we're doing that because we are scared that if we are clear, that someone will be mad at us or leave us, not love us anymore, give us the cold shoulder, right? Something like that. I feel like there's something. What is that? It's kind of. I don't know. Like these are the only sets I have right now because all of my stuff is in storage. So I don't have really many cards for clarification. Flow confronts detach. I feel like there's a misunderstanding here. And I feel like there's a place for a new beginning. So I feel like this could be like just gonna give an example. Like this could be a conflict between you and another person, right? Let's say it's a relationship, a romantic partner, and you've been kind of going around in circles, and there's been this conflicts again and again, and you feel defeated. You feel like this person isn't listening to you, like you're silenced, your words doesn't count. This can also be, I'm being told now, an old situation actually. So this is something that might be lingering with you, that you're not, you don't even have this person in your life anymore, maybe, right? But this conflict and defeat is let's say it's 2 years ago since you talked to this person last, but it's still in your system. Because yeah, if let's say it was a romantic partner, right? They get so close, and you felt so defeated about this, and it was so hard on you. You felt disrespected, and you felt like you couldn't be that Queen of Wands that you are. You couldn't be strong. There wasn't, like, you're being silenced, right? There isn't like room for you in a way. This other person is being intrusive, but I think also with the forgiveness and the options, I feel like those two together is saying that there's something about a misunderstanding here. And a lot of times when we're in conflict with another person, like let's say our romantic partner, it's because one part is getting triggered and then the other part is getting triggered by that. Right? Because when you get triggered, you go into defense mode, and you kind of attack. And when you attack the other person, they get triggered and they go into defense, and then we have this situation with both parties being in defense, not listening to each other, and the other person might have felt exactly the same way as you in this situation. But there's something about, like, if this is the case of an old relationship where you haven't spoken to them, let's say in 2 years, right? There's a new beginning for you, not with this person, but for you in your life. There's a time now, like with the sun is shining, there's a healing here. I feel like you've been kind of working on this with your self-development, trying to figure out what is this, and I feel like it's a time now to release it. There's a forgiveness. Forgive yourself in this relationship and forgive the other forgive the other part. There's an option to see it in a different way and say this is true and that is true, right? So the way you experience the relationship is true, the way the other person experienced the relationship is true. And with that, you can kind of say, okay, I want to release this. It's not important for my life anymore. If you are in a relationship now with this person and you kind of came to I want to say standstill, right? You feel like how am I supposed to trust this person when they're intrusive and I feel they're silencing me? But with the two new beginnings, I feel like you just have to get past this misunderstanding, that there's definitely something here for you. And like in relationships, I want to make these videos at one point about love. There's so many things to learn, and when we know these things, it's going to be so much easier to navigate in relationships. So in romantic relationship, you say there's 7 steps. So the first step is the honeymoon phase, right? The second step is the conflict, so the power balance phase. And I feel like this is where you are right now. You're in the power balance phase, and the next step in the power balance phase is kind of like you're struggling to, like, who's gonna get the power, who's gonna win this, right? Who's gonna have the upper hand? We're doing this subconsciously, of course. You're not doing this on purpose. But the third phase of this, the first step, is realizing, oh yeah, none of us is going to win because we're in this together, right? So there's something, you're on the verge of stepping into that third phase, but you feel so defeated and you're like, how? You can't see a way through. So maybe you guys need a break. Maybe you need some couple therapy. Maybe you, I don't know. Yeah, there is something here because there is two new beginnings, right? And there is room for trust. Right now you're just going down, spiraling downwards, right? And you can't see your way out, and you keep bumping your heads, right? You keep crashing because you're not giving each other the distance and the time and the space that you really need to sort this out. And there's things I feel like individually, like in you and in your partner, that you need to sort out with yourself before you can sort it out together, right? And so it might be a good thing with a break. Let's see what these cards says. Flow, confront, and detach. I feel like this is confront. This is the moon in the original tarot. Confronting your own shadow in this. Confronting your own triggers, right? Where are you being triggered? Why are you being triggered? So look at why you keep feeling defeated and conflicted and defeated. Of course, we can say, oh, because my partner is saying this to me or doing this and stuff like that. But it's triggering a wound that is already inside of you, and you need to look at that wound. That's the thing, right? Working on yourself before you can work on this together. So if you're taking a break, for example, you need to look at these shadows, like your victim mentality, for example, or you always, like, if you feel vulnerable, are you lashing out? Is that your survival mechanism? Like, there's a lot of things like that. I have a few videos on shadow work, actually, so go check out my playlists when you're done with this video. There's a playlist with the shadow readings. Flow and detach. Yeah, so this makes sense. So detach is, you again take the break. You're kind of like, if you put her in, and you can't see this here around you, she's in this mold of everything around her is not really making sense. It's not taking a shape. It's just a color, and she doesn't really know what's up, what's down, what's going on, right? So she's detaching herself, and with that, like, releasing, right? Forgiveness, forgiving your partner, forgiving yourself, realizing the winter that this actually caused, being stuck in this loop. So that could be you again with the partner you're in a relationship with now. It could be like a previous partner where you're still stuck with the hurt, but you need to detach from that so it can heal properly. Like, you can't do any more healing before you detach from it. And going with the flow here again, right? There's, I feel like, a compass. How do you say that? That's not the right word. Compass. How do you say that? Is that right? That's not right. It doesn't sound right. Like, like showing north and south and east and west, right? Like finding your true north, finding your true path, and just detaching from this stress right now. Yeah, very interesting. So pile number 3, that's what I have for you. Remember to go check out the playlist with the shadow work and see if there might be some answers for you there that can help you with this situation. So until next time, take care. Bye. Pile number 3, you chose this candy cane. So yeah, that might be something with the inner child, or it might be something, about eating your emotions, being addicted to sugar. Yeah, something maybe Christmas. So let's see what we got. What messages is here for you? Pile number 3. Oops. So we have suffering in silence. Wow, okay. Not the best start, huh? Solar plexus. You have a lot of cards in this pile. Destiny. Destiny to suffer in silence. I hope not. Base chakra. We've got 2 chakras. That's pretty awesome. We have darkest fears. Wow, what's going on, you guys? This is crazy. Suffering in silence, darkest fears. Move. Giving and receiving. What is this? This is all over the place. Don't have enough room for all these cards. Let's do the shadows here. Calm. Playful. Joy. Well, this is very much like the candy cane. I feel like that inner child. What else we have? We have the Tower, the World, and Five of Coins. Give me just a second, you guys. This is crazy energy. What's going on here? So I feel like you're definitely not in a good place. We got Suffering Silence. We got Darkest Fear. We got the Tower. That is pretty crazy energy. Got the World. We got Five of Pentacles. Solar plexus, base, chakra. Sorry that it's not it's not really fitting in the frame. Okay, what I'm feeling here is that you're on the hunt, I want to say, for a calm, playful, and joy feeling, right? This like loving feeling, this community feeling. It doesn't really necessarily have to be a community. It's just like you can search for this in a lot of places. For me, it would be a little house in the forest, right? Just me and some animals. That would be this feeling over here, and that would be very joyful to my inner child. To you, it might be creating a family, but maybe you don't have a partner. Maybe you have a partner, but you are struggling having a child, conceiving a child. Maybe you're single and all you really want is that partner. Maybe you're an orphanage, right? Also, like as an adult, maybe you lost your parents. Like there's this wish for something, and then there's this darkest fear that it's never gonna happen because you don't have it, right? This five of coins representing loss. Like the bag is representing the wishes that you have for this, and then it's torn open, everything falling out and falling to pieces. So there's kind of like this idea that you're never gonna get this because right now you're in this phase of suffering and silence. I feel like right now you're a lot of in your solar plexus energy and it's unbalanced, and this base chakra energy is kind of representing the joyful, right? The thing you really want in life, right? Is it family or is it somewhere you're belonging there? But something's going on because we got, I find this very interesting. We got the Tower card and we got the Destiny card. I can't remember a Destiny. That must be the wheel, yeah, in the original tarot. We got the World, things coming to an end, new things beginning. Also traveling the world. Let me just give me a second here, guys. Oh, we got this card too. Connection. I'm connected to the multitudes and I can access their support at any time. Even a stranger offers a sense of comfort when they smile at me or make a dumb comment about the weather. Everyone is waiting to connect. All I need to do is open myself up and pay attention. Note to self, work on witty banter about weather-related stuff. This is cute. So for some of you, there's definitely someone out there who had this, who had like, if you let's say you had a romantic partner, you had the house of your dreams, you were where you wanted to be, you had a good workplace, you were maybe you had children, you had a family, and then it all fell apart, and now you're kind of suffering in silence, and this was your darkest fear. And with the Tower card, right, you're falling apart, and of course your base is falling apart because everything is just sliding now. So you had all these things that you really wished for, and now you don't have it anymore, and that's kind of where you're at. And the darkest fear is that you're gonna be stuck in this suffering in silence zone, I want to say. Yeah, and this is so cliche, but what I'm hearing is that sometimes things have to fall apart for better things to come together. So we might feel like, let's say it's in a relationship, right? We might feel like this is just a perfect partner for us, and we are happy and we are content and we are feeling really good. And then this partner just up and leaves, right? Maybe sometimes out of nowhere, and we don't, what just why, what happened, what's going on? Um, because we were doing good, right? We thought this was good. We thought this was doing good. We thought, like, yeah, sure. Sometimes we had some fights or whatever. Like we have obstacles, but every couple have that, and we getting through it, right? And I feel like that, or the feeling here I'm getting is that if one part is up and leaving, then it wasn't good. Then you're gaslighting yourself, and maybe this partner wasn't honest with you, and that's another thing, of course, that we get blindsided when our partner isn't honest with us, and usually that's because they're not honest with themselves. So if that partner had been lying to themselves and doing what they could to stay in the relationship, maybe they didn't want to rock the boat, so there's a lot of times that they just didn't confront you with something that actually did bother them, and when you don't do that, you suppress it, and it's just going to build up, right? And you're not going to be talking about it, and you're not going to be resolving it, and with that growth, right, there's a growth when you resolve something. And so you're standing there thinking everything is fine because it appears to be, and your partner lied to themselves and therefore to you, and shit just hit the fan, right? And now you're like, what the fuck just happened? So that has been an unbalanced relationship, but you didn't know that because they didn't express it, and maybe they didn't know it either. So both of you have been suppressing something here. Do you get my point? That you thought this was good, but in reality, when the other part isn't feeling good in it, then it's not good. Something is going on underneath, and you're not really knowing this person. You don't know this person. I think you know this person, but do you understand what I'm saying here? That if this person is suppressing something, then there's part of themselves they don't even know, and if they don't know it, how can you know it? Sometimes we do know something about people, they don't know themselves, but you catch my drift. That you don't know this person as well as you thought you did, and again, sometimes things has to fall apart for a bit of better things to come together, and I feel like there's something else out there. So this is just an example, right? You might be single, and you might be suffering in silence. I've been in that zone, I want to say, for a long time, and it kind of feels like this is your whole world, right? I had this at for a long time. I didn't live in a place I liked. I didn't like to live there. I just did it out of necessity. I didn't really have any relationships, like friendships. I didn't. I maybe I had two friends, but we didn't speak often, and we very rarely saw each other. So I didn't have a community. I didn't have someone I could like totally rely on. I didn't have people in my life, right? I was very lonely. Sometimes it could take up to 3 weeks before I saw another person. Because this is my work. I'm doing online, right? So I don't have colleagues. I don't go to a workplace, and I was very unhappy. I was missing a lot of things in my life. I was suffering in silence, but I also know I came to learn in that period that I had to be alone, because the thing is, there's multiple things in it, but one thing is that I can make a rainbow out of the slightest sunshine, meaning that one of my coping skills in life is to find just the smallest thing that is positive, so I can ride on that to survive, right? And that is a problem, because then it becomes sometimes toxic positivity. Like, we are not being realistic, and we are not facing the truth, and in the end it's gonna hurt us, because we are doing maybe spiritual bypassing. We are not being honest with ourselves. We are putting like spiritual labels on things and saying, oh yeah, but it's because this and that. Like, let's take the twin flame community, right? You meet a person, a guy or a girl, and you feel like this huge crazy connection. You never felt this before. You discover the twin flame thingy, twin flame, yeah, people talking about twin flames, and you realize, oh, this fits. This is my twin flame. And in reality, it just turns out to be a very toxic relationship, right? But you're turning that spiritual bypassing when you're putting a spiritual term on something that isn't really working, but we're telling ourselves, oh, it's because karma, or it's because we trigger each other, we're our biggest mirrors, and I'm doing my work, he's not doing his work, but we're meant to be together. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of being honest and saying, this is really shitty, man. We fight all the time. I know when it's good, when we're together, it's good. It's like really good. But when it's bad, it's like really bad. This is toxic. It's not good for anyone. And in the in psychology, this is very normal. Like with the trauma bonding, and with the what we are attracted to, based on how we grew up and our love patterns and stuff like that. So it's not really a spiritual thing, actually. It's very well known in psychology, as a very normal thing. But we feel it's a spiritual thing because it feels so extreme, and because if you're just a little bit spiritual to begin with, at least maybe more, then coming across this twin flame thing is like, oh, that's the answer, and then you get hooked, right? Um, and then you're making like the smallest beam of sunshine into a rainbow, because, oh, this is epic, we're meant to be together and stuff like that. He's the other part of my soul. It's really toxic. It's not really doing anything good for you. So with me learning, I wasn't in a twin flame journey at that point. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that I had to learn it at that period in my life, that when I do this, turn the smallest thing into a rainbow, it's kind of like spiritual bypass, and it's not good for me. It's toxic. I need to be realistic, because it's me ending up being in situations and relationships that isn't really good for me, because I keep putting on those rosy glasses, right, and keep explaining away things instead of just being honest with myself. And for me, when you have that ability to find the positive things, that's also what brings you to the surface when you're really low. um and if you don't have anyone to bring in that beam of sunshine, then you are forced to look at the shadows, you're forced to look at what hurts, and you're forced to not lean against someone else, for support. And I know, of course, we need that in our life, but when we do this thing, turning a single sunbeam into a rainbow, we a lot of times end up leaning against the wrong people, right? Seeking support in the wrong people, and it turns out to be just this vicious cycle where we're not really healing, we're just going deeper into our wounds with this other person. So there was a lot of things I had to figure out on my own, and it was very hard, and yeah, I really felt I was suffering in silence, and I felt very alone in it. But it did help a lot to realize that sometimes we're put in these situations that we feel like we're breaking, right? I saw this. There was this quote at one point I saw, that sometimes when you feel like you're getting buried, you're really getting planted, right? So this seed is put into the earth, and it's dark and it's cold, and you don't know what's going on. And when this seed starts to sprout, it's breaking, right? Because the sprout comes out of the seed. So, and then you go to the surface, because that's where the warmth is, and you break through the surface and you see the sunshine, right? So there's something about being in that, you're being planted, and it feels like you lost everything. It feels like you don't have anything. Again, your biggest fear is you're going to stay here forever. But let's say if you plant a seed in the spring, it's going to grow like immediately. If you plant a seed let's say in winter time, it's not going to grow. It's going to be a long time before it grows, because it doesn't have the right condition. So sometimes we have to go through that winter time, right, where everything is hard, and where everything is yeah, you feel like you're suffering in silence. You feel like you're suffering alone, and like the I say, like the world just moves on without you, right? It's a horrible feeling. And especially like if everyone has everything, like the people I knew, they had, like my friends I had at that time that I didn't speak too much, but they had families, a husband, kids, workplaces where they saw colleagues, or they were doing studies, or whatever. Like people in my life I had, they had their community, they had their partners, they had their families, they had the places they want to live, and I had none of it. So it was hard for me also to talk about this to these people, because they I think they wanted to understand, but if you haven't been in that position, it's hard to understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when someone else has all these things, they can only imagine not having them, but they don't know the feeling of not having them, especially everything at once. And I feel like a lot of times when you're in this zone, I want to say in this period of your time, when you're this tower person, right? You're breaking in the middle, and you're trying to explain your situation to people who's not there and who hasn't been there. A lot of the times, the response you're going to get from other people is like, yes, but focus on the positive, or at least you have this, or like they're saying that to try to keep you afloat. They're trying to support you, of course, but not really understanding that what you need right now is not, again, some spiritual bypassing or some uplifting words, but what you need is to be met, right? You need for people to understand and meet you where you are and see that you're in a place where you're suffering. Not that you want them to fix it, because you know that's not really possible, but you just want to be heard, right? And be seen in your pain. And I feel like that's suffering in silence, that when we try to reach out to the people around us, they don't really understand. And they're not meeting us where we need to be met. And so they're giving us these, it's good advice, like, but from, and they come from a loving place, but it's not, sometimes it kind of feels like, like when people are saying to a depressed person, oh, you just have to be positive. Like, you don't get depression at all. Don't you think that person with depression has tried that? That's not, that's so, that's so not supportive. And you feel like something's wrong with you, and you feel like you're being a victim, and that you're just blowing things into proportions when people say something like that, right? Or you just get yourself together, right? There's nothing to be like, maybe focus on the positives, this is gonna pass. Like, people are not creating a safe space for you, and they're not embracing you where you are, right? And what you need from them. So that is a very lonely time. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get rid of those relationships. I think a lot of the times it just means that maybe you need to reevaluate reevaluate how where you're. Let's. I always see it like, I need, where, just a second. I need to see if I have a picture I can use. I don't. No, we're going to use this sun as an example. So let's say instead of a spiral, this is circle, and a circle within the circle, and a circle within the circle. So different circles, right? Surrounding circle when with a circle and a circle and so forth, and so on and so forth. So the most inner circle is you, and like the people you have very closest to you, like for example your romantic partner should be in your most inner circle, right? The circle outside of that circle is maybe like a good friend that you see or talk to a lot. A circle outside that circle is a friend that you don't see a lot, but maybe you knew each other from the past and you're still friends. Circle outside of that circle is maybe a work colleague and stuff like that. So you get my point, right? That the further out you go into a circle, the lesser, how do you say that? intimacy you have. Do you understand? Like the less of connection you have. So sometimes the people we feel like is in the inner circle or the circle next to that, in these like situations that we're in, we need to move them out to a circle further out, because if we keep them in that inner circle, we're going to have expectations to them, as to how our friendship or relationship is. And if they're in reality, they're out here, but we're giving the energy to that relationship as we would with a person that's in here, then we're over giving and we're going to be disappointed, right? And we're going to fall short when we are hoping for someone to understand us and they don't. So I feel like in this period of time, it's also like a good lessons. A good lesson, I want to say, yeah, that to reevaluate where on this scale of circles or whatever you want to call it, you want to put your individual people, right? So like a romantic partner, in my view, should always be in the inner circle, because you're building a life together, right? I want to say it's gonna get better. Let me just see what the message is. Like usually I don't want to make predictions about the future, and I think that giving hope is sometimes more, how do you say that? How do you say that? It's more, it can ruin more than it can help, actually, because if people keep giving you hope, like say you're watching a lot of terror videos, right? Oh, but it's gonna get better, and in 1 month or in 3 months, or like a lot of those love videos is about, oh, this person is gonna get back to you like within 3 months, and or you're gonna meet the love of your life within 3 months or something. Then 3 months passes and you haven't heard from that person, or you haven't met the love of your life. Then you watch another video, it says the same, and you know 1 year later you've been disappointed 4 times, right? And then you lose that trust and that hope, in other people and in readings and in the universe, maybe. So I don't really want to give that. I just want to say that nothing is stagnant. Things change, and this period that you're in right now, it is a really hard period. And I think maybe the point of this video for this pile is more that to make you feel seen and heard, rather than me saying, oh, everything's gonna get better, like in 3 months, this and that. I think it's more about telling you that you're not alone. Other people go through this as well. This is general reading, guys, right? Other people is gonna pick this pile. And when we have this wish for calm and playfulness and joy, like this is like something deep inside of you, I feel like it's because that's where we need to go. That's a plan. That's our destiny. And I want to share with you why, actually. When I was a child, I watched a lot. I loved to watch. In Denmark, we have Morten Korch movies. This is a person. How do you say that? A director who makes these old Danish movies. Well, I wasn't old at that time. And back in the days when he made these movies, it was always like kind of fairy tale. It's like Disney movies for grown-ups, actually. First of all, it was in the Danish countryside, right? So it was usually with farms and small villages and that romantic kind of lifestyle. Second of all, it was always summer and always sunshine, and that Danish summer is just it's got something magical about it, with our nature and stuff like that. And third of all, it was always like a love story, right? And within 3 days, the main characters was in love, and they were gonna get married and stuff like that. So you get the kind of idea of the grown up Disney version of this. And I loved those movies when I was growing up as a child watching these. I loved specifically when they were driving in their horse carriages, right, into these old farms, and farmsteads. And Danish farms has a very specific design. So I was just, oh, I love this. This is so fantastic. And the funny thing is, when I got older, and me and my ex-husband, at that time we were we were not exes, of course, but we were looking for a place to live, and I just felt like, let's look at the countryside. I never imagined myself living in the countryside. There was never anything pulling me towards that. But when we found the farm, um, that we ended up buying and living at, it was like, oh my god, this is from one of the modern Corks movies, right? Like these Disney grown up Disney movies. It had a little forest, it had a creek running through it with the small how do you say that, bridges built out of big rocks, and it was amazing, you guys. And I am so feel so lucky that I lived there, because it had the most amazing energy as well. And I've done a lot of my healing at that place, and this was the first place and the only place at this time of my life where I ever felt like home, where I ever felt like I belonged in a physical place. So just what I want to say here is, like, me growing up watching these movies, I believe was because I was destined to live at that farm. I was destined to go there, and my soul knew it, and that kind of shined through, I want to say. When I was watching these movies, I there was a reflection, a recognition inside of me, for this place that I at one point was gonna love and feel at home at. I didn't know it at the time. I never felt drawn to the countryside, like I said, and I had no idea as a child or as a grown up. So I think that sometimes that's the conclusion. I have other examples too, but this is going to be a very long video. If But this is the conclusion that I live with. If there's something that I really really want, it's because it's, or something I feel, not a specific person. I just want to put that out there, because I think that can be pretty toxic. But if I want a family, if that's something that is feels right to me in my heart, then I believe there's a family for me. And it's not necessarily in the form that I see it, right? But yeah, I do believe that we have these strong urges and strong wishes to our core, something that really makes us happy and content, and um, full with love, I want to say. It's because that's something the soul knows from the future, kind of. Yeah, so with that, like, nothing is static. Is that the word? Like, you're not going to be stuck in this forever. um but I just want to share with you that you're not alone, and there's a lesson here. I know that's so cliche to hear, but there's something to learn in this silence and in this dark times. And when you get out on the other side, like, we can't see it when we're in it. There's a lot of things I still can't see about my life that's frustrating to me, or even hurtful, or hard to sit in. But I know when we get to the other side, there's going to be revelations, and there's going to, like, when we get out of relationships, right? I feel like the further away we get from the relationship, the more and more things we realize about it, that, oh, we're actually doing this thing, a relationship that's not helpful, that's not healthy. But we would never realize that in the relationship. We can only see it on the other side, right? So I feel like that sometimes we go through phases in our life that's the case. um yeah. So, pile number four, that's what I have for you. And I hope it helped. Really, I do. I know this is a hard thing to go through, and I wish you all the best. So, until next time, take care. Bye.